So it'll tell us.
Yeah, it'll tell us who's on there.
Yes.
So if, say, Amy, if Amy zoomed in, it would show us,
Yes.
and it would have our number or name.
Let me try to do it on my phone.
Can you zoom in anonymous on it, or does it have to be under a name?
I don't think you can do it anonymous.
You should not do it
You
on
shouldn't be
this.
able to.
Do you need that? Nicole Steve?
Is she in here?
I think so.
So if you listen, that means somebody joined.
Oh, okay, and then where is the list?
And then it goes right here, it'll show a number.
Why is there two?
Well, cause there's us,
Us, and then the.
and then it's me.
And then you, okay, gotcha.
And then like right now,
They have to show their face too.
well, you can. Cause I have my camera turned off, but you can make it to where it shows up, because before I had it, like when Snyder zoomed in, Carolina, it showed that right there, because he was part of the meeting at the time,
Oh,
and then I just took him off,
okay.
which is what we would do.
Amy's gotta run it.
Did you tell her?
She should know, cause Jim texted her while I was saying you had COVID. Renee's out of town, and Randy's working on it in Oldfield, so that leaves Amy and Jamie in person, and Randy online, or Randy on the phone.
Last time
Or on
we
the
had the same situation.
Does he know he can get on it this way?
I know. Do what?
Does he know he can get on it this way?
Randy? He does, but he's way out there where just a phone call is gonna connect, you know, so. I told him I would call right when it started. And he sent a picture out there in the whole field. I guess I'll believe it. He sent a picture of it. Yep, he's working out low. Mr. B, we have a very active school. We have a very active school.
Yeah, I'm gonna take note of next time there's an election, which one tomorrow. Don't get elected and say, well, I can't show up to the meetings, or I can't.
I didn't say that, Mr. B.
I know I did. Okay, that'd be great for you.
I'll put it out there. And you can do that under your public call.
I
No, you better
I'm
not.
not here to request to speak, I'm here told to speak. But you want me to come, remember?
I know, but I'm just giving you a hard time. Are you gonna wait until the professionals report to do it, the principal?
That's at the very end.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll go back and watch volleyball.
You want, it'll just take you 3 minutes.
I'm not taking more than 3. Yeah, well,
You could, I don't know if Buddy's gonna be here, so
I supposedly take this,
you might can take his spot.
but that's a 10-year thing.
I know.
How many,
We don't have a lot, other than spending a lot of money.
it's mostly financial.
It's a lot of financial stuff because it's about,
take for it.
and one thing is the math and read 180 staff development. And there's not a lot actually. And then with Amy and Jamie,
There's no architects or anybody to take for it.
yes, we have a $39 million project that they've gotta go over the criteria. And choose the construction company.
Is the one spread a little thin?
Do what?
The one we're using spread a little thin?
Yeah, but the one that we could choose is already behind the units,
It's me.
way behind the units. And they're from Albuquerque, and they keep sending crews, I got this from units, they're sending crews from Albuquerque, and they're not all showing up. I don't wanna go through the HVAC situation again. I don't. I'd rather deal with what, than,
Yeah, that's good, I did it.
and I've been able to get up with them more than anybody. So whereas, this is the deal, you have 6 CNET guys, and only 3 show up from Albuquerque. Here, you have 3 CNET guys, and all 3 show up. What do? It's 6 of one and half a dozen. See what I mean? It's more predictable, even if it's a smaller workforce. That's that's just what I'm distilling out of the whole thing. Here's my opinion, they can do what they want.
And they're local.
Yeah, and they're local, and it keeps the money in the hogs. Is the door locked?
One side is,
Yeah.
Yeah, one side is, but not the other one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah,
But
exactly.
the wind changed directions for some months. Yeah.
The lone board member. The
There you go.
lone member.
Hey, Homer.
Oh, come on.
I
I like the Lone Ranger, the Lone member.
What if it's just Jamie?
You can run the whole thing.
I got this.
How are you doing? Tom?
Good,
Good, good. Hope we have forum, John.
It's early still.
Those square lane on it.
Yeah, I said you one day.
Oh, just
How are you doing?
How are you, ma'am? I'm good.
Where's Robert this evening?
He's out in the parking lot.
Oh, okay. Well, we convinced him to stay on. The game worked real good last Friday, so.
Good.
we'll
Did
just-
it go well?
Yes, and now we're gonna open concession this
Yeah,
Friday.
they were
So
stopping there earlier.
we're adding an attraction at every game. It's like Six Flags, you know, they used to add an attraction every season, so
Oh, that's funny.
we're gonna top it every game.
Said that was,
Oh.
you said that was.
Yeah, are you sorry?
Aww.
I'm here.
I like trim this.
Mr. B, how would you
Thank
want to do it? Do you want to try and
Wanna
put
get
3
on
minutes
kind
in, or
of-
do you want to just wait till the principal report?
I don't care. If it's not gonna be that long.
Shouldn't be that bad. And it depends, we've still got to make for one, so.
Yeah.
That's 7 minutes.
Well, and Jim's not gonna be here, so
Jim's got.
the meeting will be shorter just by him not being here.
No,
Y'all know I'm not lying.
no, it's true.
He asked really good questions that nobody else thinks of.
It's really good that he's here.
It is.
Kinda scary when he's
I
not.
know, I know that.
He's not even gonna get on?
I
Oh,
know,
you know what? He could.
he said he wasn't.
He must be feeling bad. But you know what we did say though? If we have a forum,
Then it's
yeah,
fine,
just stay off.
just do it.
It's just so
Yeah.
distracting.
But now we may have to call Randy because he's out in the ball field.
Yeah.
So if we have to call Randy and have you and Amy, that's still. I was just gonna call him on the phone because he can't log in and do this out there where he's at.
Okay.
But he told me he can talk on the phone.
Oh, okay.
So they're completing something well ahead, some
Yeah.
project.
That video he sent us?
Oil thingamajig.
Mm-hmm. How long you lived here? You don't know all this.
I know all the location, pump jack,
Hey, but
tax
ask him
revenue.
what meetings
There
they
you go.
see what meetings you.
You know the importance of,
Yeah.
What's
Oil
it
tax
like?
revenue.
I was in college.
That's what they're saying.
It's been out and all of that.
He knows where the money comes from.
That's it.
Yeah. What else do you need?
When I worked for his sister, she was like, yeah, Ryan's in some meeting. I think he makes it up. It's like, it's a PDQF for.
Because everything has synonym, or everything has acronym.
Mhm.
PDQ.
You know, something.
How are you, Shirley?
Good, how are you?
Busy?
I miss your sister.
Yeah, she always likes about
You're always busy.
Hey, is there a code for Microsoft Teams to log in?
We got to come to there.
No, because it just needs to go to the website.
Let me try and call
Amy is coming, right?
She's not indicated otherwise.
120.
Hey, Mr. Chavez, would you like me just to leave you on the phone call, or do you want to log in through your computer? You can do either one. Or your phone.
It really don't matter. I was logging in on the computer, so I'm sitting here on the truck now.
Wow, I have a new phone. I have a new phone. It's got a great, I can hear you really clear. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Anyway, so it depends on what you want to do. If you want to try and log in, or do you want to just stay on my phone?
I can just be on your phone.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine. I already logged in on Microsoft Teams. I'm just gonna look for the code.
Okay, man, the speaker is good on my
That's
phone.
good.
It's better than the one.
I can say it's better than the conference one.
It's better
It
than.
is pretty echoey.
Yeah,
Only the him though.
only to you. It sounds real good on our end.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, so we've got you and Jamie and Miss Amy will be in, so you can put us on mute if you want to. What you want to do? Put yourself on mute.
Let's catch up with John. He said, we're walking back and forth.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all tell me it's ready to?
It's been ready for 2 weeks.
Oh, didn't know that. No one told me that. But there's no fiber in. So where?
to athletics. Cameras, you know, like one, that's what we were just talking about. We got a conduit running from there behind the stadium and the stadium into there. It's gonna start out.
Right. Just told the girl, I'm pretty sure you're there.
It's US card limitation.
Oh,
It's
no.
in black.
Y'all talking about it?
It is.
She's wearing it.
Governor, hey, I make a motion. Do it.
Or it's vest. One of them is not going for the next, she's gonna first one.
She ever responded to you?
It's 4:57. She could be just across the street, you know, where, down the street, around the corner.
I bet he was in the board before that. That area.
She never responded to any of that today, or.
Oh, he's gonna, I can tell him that
She
he
knows
knows
it.
get to it.
supposed to go.
I just want this whole point to myself all the time.
Good seeing Jack.
Consistently.
And there's your glass.
But they can start.
Well, you know what, he's been sick and on vacation.
He's got the conduit loop behind the press box, we're not ready for that.
It's just where are your priorities, you know? What did you sign up for, as my resident? Sure, which will last us, you can.
I know, I've already ordered my stuff for the concession stand last week.
Yeah, it's on there.
We got our board press box, we'll start.
Carolina, watch your mouth.
That's all I know.
This is a professional
Ordered
setting.
this, so I did the press box and concession stand. I was like, they're not gonna wait on me. We're gonna wait on somebody else. They're not gonna wait on me.
That's kind of what we did. We're gonna push it up.
Did you for real, or are you just guessing?
No, I'm just guessing. I'll double check the phone to make sure we do that. Is she here?
Oh, Doc Kirby too. Let's all go harder. I'd rather be home. Right? And Monday night football, who is it?
Hey, Ms. Crawford, are you on the way? Are you on the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right, we'll see you in just a minute.
Should they have a helicopter?
Who's playing tonight?
No idea.
Well, I ain't taking no chance.
I mean, she hadn't said anything, Eagles and. Randy, you still there?
Big Eagles are playing up again when they do that.
Yes, I am.
Good, good, okay, because Amy's just about to pull in as well.
That's what's so weird here.
You see your Cowboys?
I watched that Caitlin Clark play last night, she's pretty good.
I heard that whole football, one year with my father-in-law. Came here.
See your Cowboys Saturday?
Yeah, I'm thinking, Jerry Jones, have you seen some of those college quarterbacks that are actually good at playing that position? Think about it, don't hire another like Mike and hire.
Oh, how are we doing that? We're in it. She's like, I knew that would
And my ugly shirt, Jimmy said, my shirt. Oh.
She already put a motion to adopt your payment. Luckily, it wasn't a quorum. Or it may have passed.
It's how you know it's laundry day.
You're supposed to follow the arrow. It's the Falcons and the Eagles.
I knew Eagles.
Yeah. I might as well put it right here.
I grew from South Dakota.
Okay. I don't speak. Oh, okay. Did you know we record these and they're up on our school website at all times? So, I mean, it's what you want to do. That's good to know. We record through this.
It's just gonna be me, Amy, and Randy's on the phone. So that's what I'm saying, put it right here, because it's just gonna be us right here. No one else is right here.
And then we get back up with
Oh,
the.
yeah. So she's gonna. She's gonna run it, she needs. Sit over here. Sit fine. Watch your mouth. You already sit. Oh, you got argumentative. Shit. Do you run? You need to tell me to leave. Yeah, my hands. So first night, she's like, Mom. I was like, no, I didn't say anything. That's what's wrong. She goes, I'm cold, I'm tired, and I'm hungry. I said, well, when do they feed you? When's the meal time? She goes, I have to feed myself. I said, okay, so feed yourself. She goes, well, I had. And I said, oh, something. Oh, and she goes, I'm just so tired.
They're in the corner.
Oh.
No, you're not.
The next day.
She
was already like,
Yeah, and you get fast. Well, she was hoping to sleep on the train. She was making it like
He's got these other presentations already. It's on that stuff that we're not really talking about.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to go quick sleeping again. I'll show you guys. So she was just up like the first night. All right. It's Monday.
It's not bad.
Doesn't make it What's that?
I said, they're very good shirts. So I would always like to read, why are you wearing that shirt? T-shirt just for it. Okay, like, yeah.
So productive to do this year. I'm actually. Probably a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I think the pollution, but when you left it on the desk.
Just kind of friends, don't let it.
I'll just do it, I will just get it to you tomorrow.
So I was going to be so mad at me. And then I knew we were hearing some calls.
Oh, you
Wow.
I don't know, she's gonna back us earlier.
She's doing a good job here.
No, see you right first call you, so I like camera on my side. That's all, that's all.
I don't know.
You get to sit in the middle, like, it's the other side, you know, how there, this is what I'm just.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order at 5:04.
Please rise for the child, she's on the phone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
So we do have a board member on the phone. Randy, you were here? Good, okay.
Okay, item number 2. Set the agenda, do we need to change anything?
You know,
Change any order?
we do have a principal report that we could put set a little earlier. In lieu of Buddy, we're going to have Mr. V and Johnny Stark is gonna come in with some information on the robotics program. So I don't know how you wanna do that, if we wanna just do what you, Mr. V.
How soon?
I mean, we could just leave it there. We've gotta go through quite a bit, but most of it is formalities and construction on today's agenda, so that depends on how you guys would like to handle it.
It makes me no difference, if you're in a hurry, we can not.
I've been in a hurry since 19.
Perfect answer, let's leave it as it is.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, in the minutes, the previous minutes, anybody have any questions, concerns?
I did not.
Corrections? Randy, Mr. Chavez? Is he good?
Mr. Travis, do you have any questions on previous minutes?
I do not, I just got done reading it.
Oh.
And there was 2 of them, the special meeting and then this one.
Correct.
I haven't seen it.
Do you have to vote for the agenda do you have to?
To set the agenda?
If we change something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay,
so we're done with the minutes approved?
And did y'all approve it already?
Well, we have to
Yes.
make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve both sets of meeting minutes.
Mr. Chavez? You good?
Alright, do you need a second or?
Yes, just us, buddy.
Okay,
I said to him,
Second.
Multitasking, Mr. Chavez.
Just let me throw this pipeline in real quick.
Let me do this well real quick and I'll be right back.
Okay. Item number 4, public comments. There are some names on the list. Does anybody need to speak?
Anyone need to speak
Request
on
to
the
speak.
public comment?
On to item number 5, financials. That's right here.
So, I do have one bar, and it's a operational bar for the state, guarantee grant. They did change the unit value, so it's just to, let me read what it said. It's just to, they just revised the unit value from $6,553.75, so the total amount, increase bar is $170,418 with 41 cents. And so that was just the increase bar, that's the only bar, and then any maintenance bars to eliminate negative balances.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Thorpe. Mr. Chavez? You second?
I'll second.
Okay. All approved? All in favor?
Sure
Yeah.
can, because it might be better for you to.
All in favor, Mr. Chavez?
Aye.
Yes.
Well, that's clear. I'm glad I got a new phone this week, it's really good.
Yeah, it looks better than
You don't have
this.
net filled up.
The next page, which I know Mr. Challenge does not have this, because I didn't put it in the board packet.
Okay.
So far, we've got received, for SB 9 status, we have the residential tax at $27,789. Oil and gas, $5.2 million. And so we have about an actual revenue of $60.5 million. We have expenses that are encumbered and spent of $34.3 million, leaving us with a balance of 26.2. And again, those are actual numbers, they're not budgeted, so if you see at the right, the budget balance that we have is 55. Because they are projecting over 32, close to 33 million for revenue. The status of the bond that we have available at budget balance is about 26 million. And we only have 1.6 million encumbered. The next pages are the September taxes that we've received. They're all pretty much within the same dollar amount as the previous months. And then a copy of the fund balances. There's really nothing alarming on these things. We did finish this month of the ESSER funds, the ARP ESSER funds. So we have, those funds have to be depleted and expended by September 30th. And we did expend the majority of it by doing retention stipends that was approved through PED. And so we won't have any of those funds anymore after that, after September month. So that's
Never
one of the
again?
funds. I'm sorry?
Like never again?
Oh, I know, I mean, we did ARP funds because of the whole COVID, that's the American Rescue Plan.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so hopefully not.
Yeah, Over.
Who knows?
I mean, give us the money, but like.
Yeah, because, we had the ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3 funds, and so this is the last of it, this is the 3. And so after September, we won't have any more of those funds. And then just so you can see the Ed Tech debt service, which we're fixing to do that, the resolution for it. We are showing the cash balance of 9.2 million. One of the things that I added was this little graph here. So it's just a fiscal budget recap, and so it's just showing our budget compared to how much money we've spent. And so it's a good chart because we should be, it's divided into quarters, right? So it's just easier to track. So we're just a little bit over our first quarter here, you can tell here. Bottom part. And we'll actually haven't even, we're not even through the last month of the quarter. So we're kind of over budget right now. Yeah, if we're gonna divide by quarters, then that's just showing like where we're at, and we still have a full month left of payments and spending. The next pages is our checking account for the activity and operational, and then our cash, our dividends that we earned for this month was $585,894. And that's all I have. If you don't have any questions for me.
Start with any questions? I do not. Mr. Chavez, do you have any questions for Nicole?
I do not, I guess she was going over bars, right?
Yes, and the buildings.
I did not have the bars.
You're gonna have to trust me on this one, okay?
I got you, I got you.
I'll make a motion.
Those looks look good to me.
Okay. Mrs. Art made the motion to approve the financials.
I would second.
Okay. All in favor? Mr. Chavez?
Yes.
Yes. Bless you. Okay. Thank you. Item number 6, old business, ongoing. Actually, it's
We
under
still
C.
have nutrition,
Oh, sure.
program on C.
Did I miss that?
This is the packet she just gave us, but this is the one that came in our packet, so.
Oh, that's the one. You should be on this.
Yeah, you should have it.
I C on the agenda.
This one, I don't have it. Do you have it? I can't, right there. Or is that where it is? And this one, oh, that right there. Okay, gotcha. This is the one you just want. Yes, okay, this is Nicole. Still, yes. Item number C, nutrition program policy.
Yes, so we one of the things that we did not have whenever we got our audit was a procurement policy. And so to be in compliance with all of the findings that I did explain to you guys last month is an adoption of the policy. And so that is the procurement policy there. And it's just basically what we're doing with how we go about doing an RFP or an invitation to bid for it, what items we're looking for, you know, things that we have to keep certain items for 3 years, certain items for 7. And it's just a policy of all of those things. We didn't have one. Another thing that was added to it was the pricing that we had to change for meals, and so there was a toolkit that she used us, gave us to use, and so that's also included in the policy as well. And so to comply with all the audit findings, we had to get that policy in.
Lots of good reading.
Yeah, and it's basic stuff. I mean, it's just in writing, like I said, it's
Right.
the things that the impact that we have to follow, you know, but it's just, we didn't have our own.
Does this need to be added to the board policy online? Do you know?
That probably
It
is.
should be, okay, so, you know, I can copy it.
So am I on the right page here? Is it over the electronics?
No, it's over the nutrition program. It says CNR up in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, okay. I thought that was too low, too far. Sorry.
Okay, do we need to make a motion to approve? Okay, I'll make that motion. Mrs. Art made the motion to approve the nutrition program policy that we had not had before. Mr. Chavez, can I get a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, now we're on to ed tech notes. Item number D.
Okay, so this is just the annual thing that we do, that basically is, permission, the school board, is who we get the authority from to collect ed tech money again this coming year. And it's projected to still bring in about $8 million this next school year, so good, it's a good technology fund. So what we have to do is we have to have the approval today that you guys want to pursue it as a necessity for the district. If you do, then October 7th, we need to have a 5-second meeting that we've done before, that pretty much says, yes, do it, we're out of here, you know what I mean? So it has to be October 7th. Do you know why they put the date like that, Nicole?
I don't.
I don't know why.
It just has
It's
to
always
be,
been that.
it has to be a special board meeting.
Because I think it's before that board meeting would normally be or something.
Yes, I can't remember.
But it has to be turned into this date.
And that's what we attached that timeline,
Yes.
that timetable there. Because there's a lot of steps that we've had to do and rates that need to be set at a certain time.
What time? 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so this is basically just all the money that's sitting in there and it'll go into back into actual ed tech note, because when it's a debt service, we can't touch it or we can't spend it. So all we're doing is just basically giving that approval to move that money
Just
over.
collecting it until,
Yeah, well, we're collecting it now, we're just gonna move it to a different fund so we can actually spend it.
So when you say this is gonna bring in another 8 million, do you know off the top of your head, either of you, how much we have currently or have we spent?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not,
it's in the packet.
that fund balance sheet, I said it was like 9 million.
Oh, the bottom one,
Yeah.
oh, okay, the bottom line.
43,000?
Okay, yeah, I saw that, okay.
Yeah, it's like 9, right now it's at 9.2, I'm not sure, I haven't looked at the resolution to see if they put up to a certain amount or if it's exactly. I wasn't,
I think it's
I
just-
just forwarded the email last time.
It's just the approval.
Is there a certain amount that we cap at a certain amount?
No, it just depends on what it brings in for the 0.03% tax rate.
No, that's different, what you're talking about. So what we have it's not we're doing a bond on the ed tech note, so we're moving all the money that we have now into from out of debt service into the notes.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so, they always ask me how much I have, so I haven't looked at the word, we have
It
the
doesn't have
policy,
an amount in it.
it doesn't have an up to,
Well,
because usually it
right
should
here.
say up to.
Exhibit B and Exhibit A1,
That's what it
it
is.
says 9 million total.
Okay. So therefore still have that
Yeah,
200-something thousand hanging out.
For the next time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can continue forward.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Not for me. Mr. Chavez, any questions? You good?
That'll be a separate meeting, October 7th?
Yes.
5 o'clock.
And it'll just be a minute, just a one item agenda.
Yeah, so today is just adopting the necessity resolution, acknowledging that we need to proceed forward. And then, we've already sent the notification to the state treasurer office today.
Okay, so from the board, you need a motion?
Yes, on the necessity, it should have been in your packet.
Yeah, the resolution's
Yeah, the resolution was in your packet.
It's to approve that resolution.
I'll make
Of
that
the
motion.
9 million.
Mrs. Art made the motion to approve.
I will second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
It's that overnight thing we do.
Okay, now we're on to item number 6, updates on all these projects.
I think you just completed item number 8.
No, 5.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, I think we just did number 8, didn't we? Future
Oh,
discussion.
we did?
Oh,
It's down there.
yeah. It's down in there.
Stay with us, Mr. Chavez. Kidding. Okay, item number 6, go back.
Okay.
Is RJ ready?
So, I don't know where RJ is. He's supposed to actually be here.
Everybody's getting paid out this week.
I have a question about the what's it called, timber truck, right?
The Jumbotron, Ryan?
Yes.
He's
On
asking
the,
about-
on the south side of the Jumbotron, is it gonna be covered? The other day I was down there for driving through there anyway.
Yeah.
And, the sun was shining just right, that it was blinding in my windshield on the backside of that.
There will be a building in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I hope there's something
Yeah,
covering.
yeah, there will be a building that arches right in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, one second. So, it did a perfect glare?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still in for damage.
Would you guys like to go over existing while I'm getting in touch with RJ?
Sure. I just texted him to see if he was gonna make it.
Good luck.
We will start with the athletic building, it's 99% done. We're waiting on, some stuff that didn't come through last week's contract. Shelley's gonna put cameras and Wi-Fi and all that too. The building itself is about 99% done. We've still got some school board issues. We're working through that diligently, wiring and stuff, but it's.
Well, he said scoreboard. I thought he said school board too. It's like, well, bring that one right here.
You got 3 minutes.
It's Monday, it's been a long day. Anyway, like I said, that's gonna be a separate issue. The stadium, we are waiting on seats, and we've got some stuff finalized on that, with the garage doors can be put on tomorrow. Obviously, the ground can be done, we've got a lot of pavers. We were discussing today that it's got a big trench drain that runs behind that may go away, depending on what they do on the design behind the elementary. They shed that water. If they shed that water a different direction, we may not need that trench drain behind there, so. And so that's gonna be something we've got to discuss with parking. The bleacher seats should begin October the 10th, Joe, 8th. And he's gonna send a triple crew down here to get them on. We got the press box steel in last week and we've started erecting it, we're pushing that.
So it's coming in early and we're expecting it a week or 2 later.
Yes,
Awesome.
and we've already started erecting it, we're pushing that to get your press box finalized. John's been down here going over stuff with me. We're gonna try to start the concrete on the front of your gym, but I need to coordinate with y'all to make sure, you know, we've got a camping to build over your gym. But I wanna make sure it's not gonna interfere with any of your sports seasons, we might have to work around that.
And also the parking area that's planned,
Yes,
so we need to make sure that we're not double work doing it.
it's something that I've gotta get with Dusty or something coordinated. So it doesn't just totally shut you down. Elementary is moving along really nice. You probably see a lot of progress going on over there. We've got electricians, fire suppression, ductwork going in and framing started on it. So that one is moving along rather nicely. Junior high is moving along. We're pouring concrete about every other day. Spot footings there's a lot of offsets, so they're small pours. You probably won't notice a lot, but there's a lot going on the ground over there. The anchor bolts came in today, that made me happy because they've been on the back order for a little while, so. Once we can get our continuous grade beam board, we can start set the rest of the concrete, get anchor bolts set. And it won't be long, we'll get plumbers in there, they've already started initially on some of it, but we get plumbers in there, get rough ends, and hopefully for too long, we can get four board over there and start standing some steel. Baseball, we broke ground on it, we're digging footings today, get ready to pour the grade beam around that. That's relatively a small job, that one's gonna go very quickly. We've got the door jams for it, and most of the block is here. So you'll see a lot of progress on baseball out there, it's moving really nice.
And will it be ready by this baseball season?
We didn't attempt ever from make it happen.
John will check.
Yes, February.
Documented.
What about leaving out? Auditorium, we're doing punch list. Grady's got most of the punch list that Lasco has
It should be complete this week. I did notice the flooring fixed on the, so what we decided to do is go ahead and work on the existing, not the existing, but the new floor they put on the stage, because we spoke to the drama teacher. He said he likes that flooring that was on there, and doesn't want us replacing it, because you could literally hammer a nail in it and just pull that piece up and throw another one down. So for productions and stuff, the flooring that was there was the best. It just had bows in it. So they're working on fixing the bows that were in the floor, and then on the very front, I didn't like the way that they did that terrazzo tile. So it had silver, if you look, it's got silver metal arches in the floor. Well, if they didn't cut that tile perfectly to fit that arch in the floor, it didn't look right. So there were several of those that didn't look right. So I told them, they said, do we want us to do a pour, or is it okay just to do what we're doing here, but make it right? And I said, if you can make that right, it will look. And they pretty much have. They've had to come in and cut some of the tiles. I imagine it's hard to do, but.
Gotta get some of the radiuses and stuff like it.
The radiuses and- yes.
Make it right.
Yes, and as far as I know, it's been corrected from what I've seen, so.
The rest of the punch list will be some of the audio, some of the stage stuff. As far as the actual work that we do, we should have our report completed this week.
Sound panels are, I think, second or third week of October, and the curtain should be right in there. That's it.
Okay.
The lances are already built, ready to go up, and we need to replace.
So we'll probably be able to check that off the list by the next meeting, and I can get it off of my report. But I'm just saying, so we shut that, close it out.
If the sound panels and curtains come in, that's gonna end up being the last thing.
That'll be the very last detail. And as far as Pace Audio and that other company, have we got that coordinated to make sure? I think Pace, we've already got the training on, but not the.
Yeah, I studios, I'm still just talking with Will on our studios. He was supposed to get back with me today, but he's tied up in the meeting.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with him tomorrow.
RJ texted me back, he said he should be here at 5:35 according to his GPS.
Okay.
It's basically adopted. I'm not gonna have everybody today.
A couple % on his commission.
I think I've covered everything. I might have forgot something. Oh, and I am gonna tell you, I made an announcement to you, Brian, and Cindy, that I was gonna retire in January, and John and I are working. I'm gonna extend it a while.
All right. I was gonna say.
We don't need no answer around here.
I noticed that.
Unless you have, no offense or anything, unless you're dead, you're not out of
You will be just my radio for you. You might help me divorce this.
Oh, okay. Well, if you take some time for yourself.
It's just, I need to take some time here and there. I've got some stuff we needed to do, but I've talked to y'all, we're gonna work something out. I wanna make it work for y'all and me as well. Don't worry about it, and, if it comes down to the technical part, John's got a lot of qualified superintendents. I admit, I've done stuff similar to this, John has as well, and I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging, because that's just,
Appreciate that.
I'm just, I take pride in what I do, and I wouldn't leave y'all hanging, especially John, so.
Wow.
We're gonna work something out.
Good to hear.
And on the other projects, how was the junior high footings, where we had on those, a lot of activity really going on there the last week or two?
We're making leaps and bounds on that. It doesn't look like a lot, but
I can see.
you got all the guys down and you can see their hard hats.
Now, you can see it's hard, yes,
I did notice when they bend that metal that they do each little ridiculous piece of it. I saw on the bricks, how many thousands of bricks go up to that scoreboard on those blue. They were literally taking each one with a rag and water all the way from the top of the scaffold down to the ground.
And we're not done yet because there's a film on it and we think it's your water. John's gonna haul a tank down here from his car wash with some,
Oh, good fresh water.
and we're gonna mix it and see if we can get that film off of there with some water that's not so hard. I think I've covered all my bases, but I did want to tell you, I'm gonna retract that retirement.
Good, that's really good news. And elementary, I noticed the ductwork, HVAC, looks like they're putting it, hanging it into the building.
It's about 99% complete on the duct, the rough end on the duct. Dymar is putting the fire suppression in, and they've probably got, I'm gonna say another week and a half there. framing has started, layout, the tracks are in. And some of the studs are here, those are some really long studs, 35 feet, so they're special, where we had to order some studs in. So
And then, what were you explaining about how it ties to the main building? We have to do it like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, there's something tying into the main building that would
Yeah,
just.
we're gonna have to do a lot of jackhammering in the
Yeah.
hallways, so we won't do it Friday or Saturday or something.
when you go up the stairs in that building,
People won't notice.
No, we did today.
Oh, we did?
They're right outside my window.
when you go up the stairs in that building, as you reach the top landing, we're gonna open up your existing building and make it taller right there so you can see down through the school. We were hoping to do that over the summer, but with the steel stuff that we were missing and the delay with the pipes in the ground, it didn't happen. John and I looked at that, we're gonna go in there and frame a temporary wall in there beside that principal's office, insulated sheetrock. We're gonna try to make that as soundproof and weatherproof, because once we open that lid up, it's gonna be exposed. It's gonna be exposed for a while, because we've got to jackhammer some of that all out to get, for some new spot footings.
Okay.
Your principal over there is probably not gonna be real friendly with this.
She's not anyway, so. She takes care of her school.
What we're hoping to do, if we have to do some of the demo on the weekends, we'll do it, or in the evenings, or maybe even on your holiday break. We're gonna try to accommodate you as best we can, keep noise and dust down.
I understand, but I understand we're also literally connecting a building onto the existing building.
Yes.
Which is, so we've got that all the logistics of that.
Yeah, we'll be loud.
Can you bring RJ's presentation up on
Just go ahead and do it.
the? I'm going to present it for him.
Every time we pass by the school, my little 3-year-old goes, why are they building another school? They're just adding on, baby. She's like, why? Because we need it.
Also, if y'all notice, I did put on the ongoing indoor athletic facility, you see CTEC expansion, high school gym addition, elementary playground, and it's gonna be restrooms and a visitor's locker room. So I put all that on there because those are kind of future things that we're looking at. They're gonna come up as permission for us to explore those issues. So one at a time, you have CTEC expansion. What that means is we're going to start offering a wool field class. We're already starting the meetings and everything up. We've got automotive woodworking and welding. We don't know if it will even fit in the building that's there if we're gonna start expanding those. Because if we start expanding those programs into something the kids are gonna wanna take, it may quickly outgrow the building that it's in right now, because we don't have the CTEC, the high school from Hobbs anymore. So we could have more students, even seniors, coming to those classes. We're looking at ways to expand it. So we have nothing in our head concrete yet on how we're gonna do that, or if it will entail any more building or not. So we're either looking at taking that across the street, there's that 3-barn bus bay, and making that automotive, and then putting the oil field and welding in the main building with the woodworking. Or one of the last things we might do with the oil field, depending on how popular it is, we're gonna look at different things, like maybe even putting an addition on top of the existing shop class that would be out of glass. We're looking at something like that. We'd have to have a little elevator in it. But if we expand the CTEC to that level. But what this does is it just kind of gives us freedom to say, okay, after the first year or two, these are the needs. We really don't want to build something that we don't know if we're gonna need yet, but we do want to explore options if we decide to go that route. That's on the CTEC.
Do we have any oil field companies
Yes.
planning to come in and?
We so far signed up, they're all signed up, there's already a committee. It will be Devon Energy, Rebecca. It will be Clay Treadaway with Franklin Mountain. It will be a few local. Coterra.
Is that one?
Yes, Coterra is one of them. And then we've got about 5 or 6 on that committee so far.
Nice.
And actually, they're gonna meet possibly tomorrow. I've got the calendar in my office. They've got a calendar. Mr. Richard is heading up the career tech programs academically. So I'm working on the facility, what our needs are. Because already we're looking at a tank battery, a miniature,
Okay.
like one that would fit in this room.
Oh.
Usually one tank wouldn't fit in this room. So if we can do a miniaturized tank battery with all the automation controls and everything in it, we're going to possibly put that to the yard, but we need to expand the outside yard to fit that. Right now, it's only gonna be half the parking lot for the lumber yard. We have to expand that to all of it. So there's all those things like, as we go, what are we gonna need?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna start exploring.
This is really exciting, so many opportunities.
It's really cool to be able to offer all this stuff. The high school gym edition, what we're looking at on it is possibly off of the east side, putting a family room. And, cause they feed the kids almost before every home game. And if they feed the kids like spaghetti or something, we need a serving area. We need an area where all the families and the parents can come and eat. So it would be that kind of facility. We're looking at putting a bathroom for the, go ahead.
So are you talking about physically adding on?
Yes,
Okay,
onto the east side of the building.
east and west mean nothing to me.
Yes, sir. Projects. So we're looking at adding on, I'm just putting.
So on the left side, you're looking at the right side.
So on the east side of this way.
Right side?
I've got a markup on the
You have a
presentation.
markup? Okay, we'll go over that when we get to yours. So that'll be all kind of those needs for that gym. We're kind of tweaking the use because we've always had locker room issues with that gym, not enough. So what we're looking at is how to expand the locker rooms, what to do with the existing weight room because we're gonna have a new one. And then adding bathrooms to the elementary playground that could push into that back of that gym in square footage that's not being used. And adding a place for the athletic trainer.
Okay.
So and most of it's under roof except for the addition, if we do a family area, locker room area for visitors. So we would kind of like to address the locker room issue. It could involve the existing weight room and it may not. That way y'all will know. So he's got some ideas already. I saw him in his presentation. And then the elementary, that's the elementary playground, finishing it up, leveling it up where it's not such a hill. And then adding bathrooms out there and water fountains out there. And then the visitors locker room, which what we were talking about, and addressing it within the existing gym. And that's what we have on. That's all I have for that.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, that's a lot to even talk about, because what we're trying to do basically is just take all the stuff and then tweak everything on the things we don't like and the things we wish we would have added, and then be done. I'm just saying.
Forward thinking.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Hart? Mr. Chavez? Mr. Chavez?
That sounded like a lot.
It is a lot of information, and it's gonna be rolled out a little bit at a time on our needs. And if you guys see an additional need or an additional thing we're not addressing, bring it up, you know?
Yeah, I have to put eyes on it.
Yes, well, yeah, I know, I can get with you too, Randy, if you wanna look at it.
Visualizing it out here is kind of hard.
Except maybe the tank battery.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's all I'm looking at right now. Yeah, the whole building thing, that was cool to hear.
It's really good, we're really trying to beef that up and make a good program. And then there's a lot of certifications that we were talking about that the committee has already talked about before the first formal meeting. And that is like these certifications that all oil field companies require. If we could get them in, we could probably get them one of their senior semesters.
That's cool.
It's really exciting, yeah.
That'd be cool. Okay, I believe, Artie, is up
Yes.
for presentation.
All right,
Sorry, Mr.
did
Chairman.
we already do the first action item, which was those projects, I believe? Sorry I was late.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Apologize.
A lot to get to.
Drove from Albuquerque today.
Ah, yeah.
We're gonna take a percent off.
Okay.
That was easy.
A very, very small percentage.
We got that recorded, he said.
It's a fee for our services, it's not a commission. Those are two different things, okay. We provide a service. Just the overall schedule, obviously the softball parking and auditorium, we're still wrapping those up. Athletic concession, this was, we were thinking we were gonna be done in July, and we've still got some projects that are lingering, trying to finish up, y'all did an update earlier, or y'all haven't done this? Okay, all right, so they ran through all that.
We'll send that to the whole.
Right now, today we'll talk more about the indoor athletic facility, and I've got a couple pictures of some of the, construction projects in progress. I believe they're already further along, but you can see there is some concrete poured at the bottom of those footings for the junior high. So if you haven't walked over there, you wouldn't necessarily see that there's steel rebar in place and then concrete that's been poured in some of the footings there. So making progress. It's not as easy to see as the steel on the elementary, but it's getting there.
And that's what we had just talked about with LASCO, is that there's a lot of progress underground.
Yeah, utility.
Yeah, those footings are about 5 foot deep
Oh, yeah.
or more.
Yeah, it's gonna be a large, nice facility for sure. I think once it starts getting out of the ground, I think you'll really be able to tell the scale of it. Elementary school, moving along, we finally see, exactly how large that one's gonna be as well. This is looking from the new ramp at the bleachers, that existing school here. And what we're talking about on the elementary for the playground is you can see how there's such a big drop off here. What we're looking at doing is taking that and keeping it flat across here, and then providing, we're already gonna have a fence here, so it'd be just a fence with a wall that comes across that makes this whole area much flatter than it was previously. So they'll be able to use it for soccer and football and all just running around. View from the stands, I'm sure you've probably seen this, but you can see even this is just turning around from where I was at on that very north side. So you can see there's your screen right there. It's still pretty nice and large looking. I'm sure you've all been out there to see it. It'll be nicer once, I didn't even look to see if they'd taken down the old scoreboard yet, but once they get the old.
We gotta make sure that one's go.
Yeah.
Fire up first.
So I think once they get that old scoreboard, and it's pretty amazing to think too that the new indoor facility actually goes over.
It's crazy.
So it's gonna be larger than the scoreboard itself.
Yeah, Mr. Chavez said from the back, it's producing like a mirror-like glare from the highway.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said, we're going to put a building right there in front of it.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll help with the glare, but
Should
should
cover
be a large building for sure.
That's 20 foot taller than.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very impressive.
Yeah, that's
We start seeing some of the ticket booths over there. This is the elementary, so there's the gym where we're looking at adding on, and then the back of the bleachers here, the press box that still needs to be worked on.
It's underway,
It's under, oh, okay, good. This is the markup, so, Brian calls me and walks through all these things, and then I'm trying to picture where, like y'all were. Picture where are we talking about, how big, can we really fit a hospitality area over here for football players that's in between the bleachers and the gym? Can we really fit an addition onto the CTE if we want to look at doing it here? So we can kind of start studying that, but I need to get a couple of guys working on it and start looking at massing and what can really work there. So that's kind of part of that, the hourly fee of just us investigating, if a new bathroom for the elementary, because we were looking at putting it maybe over here somewhere, but building a separate building versus using some of that interior space. I think you'll be able to get it a lot quicker, the new restrooms, and a lot more cost effective, especially for a room that's just not being used with that old air handler that's in there. So you just fill in the floor, add some restrooms, and it's not gonna be cheap.
So originally in 1952, the building was designed with a swamp cooler, but it's 2 stories tall.
Right.
It's got this huge swirl cage, it's still in there. And then the air intake is on the now the elementary playground used to be the tennis courts. So the air intake was there for that swamp cooler to cool the whole gym. And it was converted over to the AC units, but it left this room almost as big as this building. It's a huge room in there, but
Yeah.
at least bigger
It
than
is
this
this
room.
room, yeah.
And it would be great for bathrooms and maybe water fountain on the outside. So you could put water fountain on the outside of that and, still maximize, we've already got the square footage there.
So before, when we renovated the gym, it was gonna be pretty expensive to try to remove it and fill in the floor. But if you're weighing it against building a brand new building out there, then it doesn't seem quite as expensive. And the location, if we built a bathroom, it probably have to put it a little further out, but having this bathroom almost right next to the playground is almost more ideal as well. So, we're gonna investigate that. I missed anything else? We talked about the visitor locker and, is there potential if we do add this, can we add a little bit more? Or does it make more sense to use that existing weight room because you're gonna have such a nice new weight room in the indoor facility?
And the weight room has a restroom, not enough restroom probably, but it's a big room that you could repurpose and then maybe put the old weight room over there, on the other side or something. Well, that's why we need to.
Yeah, we need to play with the options and bring
What's
it to
the best way to do it? Do we want to keep the old weight room? A lot of the coaches are saying yes, because junior high and high school, they could have 2 different classes using it. The kids are wanting to get in the weight room more, and the coaches are wanting the defense to get in the weight room more. And so there's things like that we've got to say, well, if we need it, we've already got the equipment, why not?
There's one more, for the students and one more for the community, so there is that opportunity with having 2, and maybe it could be half the size, maybe it doesn't have to be as big if you have 2 as well. We'll play with those and bring those back to you. All right. The second thing that we have on the list is that we had some issues with the way the resident contractor and resident veteran criteria was just used in our scoring methodology. So this was the scoring methodology that we established years ago for a competitive seal proposal. For the indoor, we said, okay, 60% is based on price, 5% is based on the dates that they give to complete, 7% is based on resume and reference, 5% experience, 5% mechanical. And each one of these were a little bit more to where from here up equaled 100%. And then we added on either 8% for resident contractor or 10% for resident veteran contractor. Well, if you do that, the state law says that 8% is supposed to be for resident contractor and 10% is supposed to be for resident veteran. So if you had 118%, then it wasn't truly 10%. Does that make sense? So the grading criteria wasn't correct when it comes to
You
those.
even have to factor in Native American contractor.
Right, it's resident veteran contractor or Native American resident. So we wanted to make sure that all of those were properly showing up percent-wise. So those were changed during the bidding process. All the bidders were aware of it, and then this is the criteria that was used. We just want to make sure that y'all do adopt this criteria and agree with it. Any questions on that scoring criteria?
Let me take a picture real quick.
Okay, yeah.
The ones that I worked here tonight.
And I sent this to Brian as well.
And it is under the new business thing to adopt. So that's what B is in your packets on number 7 on the agenda.
And then next, based on that criteria, we met with the scoring committee and went through each bid that was submitted. The range was between 28 million and 36 million. So we had a pretty good range. We had 3 submitters, 7B, Lasco, and James. 7B did have the low bid, but they were not really qualified based on all the criteria to be working on the project. Their previous experience was like box stores and Dollar Generals and Starbuckses. and have never really worked with a public entity, or a school district.
Well, you know, Dollar General's going real fast.
Yeah, they do go up real fast.
That's not.
Or New Mexico, they also, weren't certified with the New Mexico workforce, and so there's a lot of things that scored them low, and they potentially could have came off the list based on some of the scoring, but we wanted to go ahead and just show you that they scored at a 6.94. Lasco Construction scored at a 8.05, and then James scored at a 7.6.
And that's even broke down further.
Yes.
In what we reviewed that is available to any of those companies
Correct.
that have a question.
Correct, yeah, we have the more detailed
Yes.
scoring criteria that can be made available, but based on the scoring criteria, we would recommend, the scoring and ranking committee recommends going with Lasco Construction for a maximum allowable construction cost for the indoor athletic facility at $33,338,679 with 730 days of construction. This was one of the longest, which this is the construction amount that we had in the specifications. So they said, okay, we think that y'all are right, we need to take all of this time. Other people said 420 days, and some of the timelines were completely unrealistic, really, I think. And so I think this is the most realistic timeline, and we think that this bid has the most coverage of all what was in our construction documents based on the experience that they have. Any questions based on bids and scoring criteria?
No, we went over it pretty good
Yeah,
last week.
and we had 2 board members present, Renee Cervantes and Amy Crawford were present.
Correct.
To see the scoring criteria and go over it in more detail last week. Yes.
And so that would bring the total project estimated cost for the indoor facility to $39 million. I think I have a breakdown of how that shows the construction cost, and we've actually had the ed tech components have gone up with some of the golf simulators and some of the specialty screens and lighting, and so I think a bigger chunk of that 33 million will, I think, be able to come out of the ed tech funds. So that's a
There's a lot of
positive.
technology.
Yeah, there's a ton of technology included. And then the soft cost just shows the civil engineering, MEP engineers, architectural, landscape, architect, material testing and balancing. We do still have 1.9 million in contingency, so all the things that have come up with finding electrical lines that are not in the right place and water lines over electrical lines. We want to make sure that we have enough money in there if things come up that can still be covered within this $39 million budget. We also show about 300,000. So if you feel like certain furniture and equipment that's needed for that facility,
And with the.
new training dummies or whatever needs to happen
And
inside
with the
there.
weight room in there,
Mm.
that might need to be a little higher than that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I
so
thought it's
you
at least-
might actually need, some of this
200,000 probably just for weight room,
for weight room equipment, yeah.
but it might not need.
So
much.
one thing that is covered, like I said, is the screens and the golf simulators
Is
are already,
covered.
it's already in that 33 million. So there's certain things that are already in there. This would be kind of on top of that, but yeah, you're right, the weight room equipment would be
Yeah.
part of that. Mhm. Any questions on? And so right now, with the current projects that are under design, we have the storage building across the street, about 1.75. The indoor athletics with the new builds would be at 39 million, showing the bus barn at 8 million, auditorium steps reconfiguration at about $500,000, junior high courtyard at 4, and then elementary playground additions and renovations. This might actually go down depending on what we do, because this is including the new restrooms. And so if we put them in the gym, that kind of pulls that from that.
And that's why I'd also like to have Nicole plug these into revenue and then projected revenue on the SB9.
Right.
You know, we need to at some point to make sure that these are projected, you know.
Yeah,
In other words, that we don't stop in the middle of something.
and all of these were sent to Nicole last week,
Yes.
so she's looking at them as well. Right, and I think that was the last action item that I had on the list. Any questions or anything that I didn't cover?
Mr. Chavez, do you have any questions for RJ?
I do not, he explained himself very well.
Thank you. Mr. Okay, so,
So we
Let y'all
can
have it.
go through the items now, if you want to, on the.
Yeah.
On the new business.
Yeah.
And
anything else? That takes us to item number 7, new business. Number 8. Mr. Schmidt.
So this is for me to negotiate the architectural services through CES on an hourly basis for the things that we had talked about, like CTE oil, gas, welding edition, high school gym hospitality edition, elementary playground restroom edition, and visitor locker room edition. And it's estimated to be $100,000 for their fees to design all of this stuff. Estimated, so.
Yeah, it'll be on an hourly basis.
With the hourlies, I don't look for it to be that much, because we're just gonna do this one thing at a time.
Yeah, it might be over a couple of years that we spend that much, so it's
Yeah.
just, we don't have to keep coming back.
And that way I don't, get with RJ and say, we need to do that, wait a minute, we can't really look into that until, that kind of. These are all things we can even think of to finish up. And like I said, if you guys think of something, that could be included in this hourly as well.
I'll make that motion. Mr. Chavez,
I will second.
all in favor?
Yeah.
Letter B. Competitive sealed proposal, revised scoring criteria.
That's just to make sure, because it equals 118% for revenue.
Right.
And to make it level up and equal 100%, that way all the contractors, that way it's level for all of them, and that we were gonna do this.
Correct. So we just need to adopt it, is that what we're
Yes.
supposed to do?
Adopt the new scoring criteria.
I'll make that motion. Mr. Chavez,
Second.
all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number C, superintendent to negotiate construction front contract with the #1 ranked bidder, Glasgow. Anything else on that?
Yeah, just to make sure the maximum approved construction cost is $33,338,679 with 730 days of construction, resulting in a total estimated cost of $39 million once you add all of the contingencies and everything.
I'll make that motion. Randy, that's your cue.
Oh. Can you make motion? I'm sorry, I started sneezing like crazy.
Yes, we need a second.
I'll second. I did not cancel that because I was low running.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Thank you. Letter D, math and read 180 staff development, $36,015.
Ready to go, we're excited.
Yes,
So.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
This is an in-person coaching from Matt and Read 180 people to come into our district. It's a total of 12 hours, but it will be separated into hour-long sessions. And it's during the school day, so they'll come into my
This is not who we already have.
We have their
This is
curriculum. This is staff development. We already have their curriculum.
Okay,
This is just additional staff development.
It's been in place for quite some time.
Yes, we just, yeah, and it's, some of it's been a year, some of it's expanding it and bringing in people to actually coach during the school day. It's very costly, but we're saying it's
necessary.
wonderful, yes.
It is necessary
It is,
because
yes.
you get a program and you kind of, the thing is you don't have time to delve into all the possibilities and, just like today, they came in for a quick training on it, or presentation on it, and we found out there were some things in the interreading that we weren't using, that we paid for. And some of our staff knew how to use it, and then some of our new staff didn't have a clue that it was there. So it's just, you think of all these questions and and tech support's great, but this is somebody that can come in and just say, this is a shortcut to use this, and this is the best way to use this part of it. And it's just easier when the teacher is using it, if somebody can come by and say, oh, you're doing this, well, this is a faster way. Or if you're looking for this report or whatever, this is the place to do it. It's a little better use of the trainers
Getting the most out of
getting
it.
the.
Yes, so that way we're using more of the features too, because what happens, we know that as teachers, like, here, use this program, okay. And then you're just using half, or you're just going into, I didn't have time today, I used my prep period and I still don't understand. It's like all the things that they're, and teachers are also probably already accumulating questions about it.
Yeah.
And then when they come in, they'll be able to answer them, so,
So this will happen pretty quick,
yes.
very soon. Okay, nice,
This semester will start.
okay. That being the case, I guess I need a motion to approve Math and Read 180 staff development. I'll make that motion. All in favor? Good job, Randy. Yeah, he's on it. Letter E, varsity gym front door replacement, $31,000.
So LASCO doesn't have enough to do, so, gee, where are they? But anyway, so our front doors on the gym are literally coming apart on us. They're about 7 years now. But they're literally coming apart on us and they're not in warranty anymore. And so we had somebody come through, they've done a lot better doors on the new, auditorium. And so we had them come through and look at them and do an assessment on them. And they said they would really like to just replace the inner and outer doors. Comes up to $31,000 to do that. And that's to put in much better built doors than what we had spec'd in the auditorium, in the gym renovation.
Wow.
They're catching, they're not closing correctly, that kind of thing.
Well, that's a security issue.
Yes, it's absolutely.
I'll make that motion then. Mr. Chavez? All in favor? Letter F, data line to connect the Woolworth Library with the high school, $22,462.
Okay, so what that does is connect all of the bell system, warning system, blue light system that we have for lockdowns, connects the library to it. We do not have the library connected to announcements or anything right now.
What happens, they used to be.
They
the announcements
They
for
used to
bells.
be, but the new fiber optic cable did not allow that. So the technology has moved way past what we did have connecting them. And so what we need to do is physically connect them with the fiber line over to it. We have to cut through the pavement across the street.
Wow.
And so that will connect the library into us.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
Oh, good timing. Do I need a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a motion. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor? Item 8, items for future discussion or consideration. We've already mentioned, like you just said, Randy, the special meeting on October 7th for approval at 5 o'clock on the 7th.
Yeah, so you guys don't really need to vote on that, you just need to be aware of it, if that's okay. It's okay with you all.
Absolutely.
We'll be here.
Did you walk in?
Anybody have anything to discuss or consider for the future? Mrs. Art?
I do not.
Mr. Chavez?
You know,
Okay. Principals reports.
Perfect
Who's that?
timing.
Who's the scissors?
Why don't, since Mr. B's been waiting so long, why don't we let Mr. Estrada?
I'll be a gentleman and I'll let Corn go first.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna go, but it's pretty short because mine will be tied into what Mr. B's gonna talk to you about.
You don't know what I'm looking for.
I do know exactly what you're going to talk about. We lost a few, gained a few, and are still at a total of 289 students. Our smallest class is 34, pre-K. Our kindergarten is 36, and our largest class is 48. So we're holding pretty steady. Our 4-year-old program has 1 space left.
Wow.
iStation testing and MAPS testing are completed. Mr. V is gonna go over a little bit of the results with you. iStation growth, the pictures that you've been seeing on Facebook are for reading improvement, and we'll make sure we put a couple of statements out there so that parents know, but that if the public is looking at the JEL schools, that they know that's for reading. And we're pretty pleased with the progress that we've been making. 6-year study, the administrators, we went to the 6-year study through CES, and one of the things that we talked about was focusing on student engagement and making sure that, they're staying with the lessons, and the teachers are making sure that they have the materials and the training to provide lessons that are making sure that our students are staying engaged. Another thing that we did was, with the exception of 2 people in my building, every other SPED teacher and myself went to the SPED law training in Albuquerque, staying current on the changes in the SPED program. Pretty informative. We just today had a presentation on new math curriculum into math. This kind of ties into what you're talking about just a little bit earlier about the training. So we're looking at a new math curriculum instead of waiting the 2 years. The math curriculum that we have envisions, I know Mr. V last year brought a book to show you our math program and how unhappy we are with it. So thanks to Mr. Snyder, he's agreed to let us take a look at replacing that sooner.
Nice.
And yes, instead of waiting the 2 years, which is awesome. So
And keep in mind, the math 180 is only the catch-up math.
Correct, that's the interventions.
It's not the core curriculum. Yes.
Correct, this is the actual curriculum, into math. The math 180 is the intervention part, it's the remedial part, which we do have that and have started using it, and so far so good. My power will be coming in to set up dates for the spring semester. I don't know if this is in Buddy's report, but it's one thing. So my power was always in elementary, it was always in 5th grade, and Daniela talked to me and I talked to her about extending the program, would the kids be interested? I didn't think that it would be feasible for junior high to go somewhere else, and it was getting hard for JAL to continue, so for this year, it's the first time they're bringing my power to JAL. Which I'm super excited about.
And these speakers at the high school have been incredible.
Yes.
They had,
Kate Kernan was the first one.
They've got, Yvette Harrell, and I get to be the official committee and take her around and talk to them, and I'm plugging us at the same time. No, it'll be Yvette Harrell this time, which is really good to have those strong women like that. It's awesome.
Another speaker they had was somebody that we saw at one of our Lee County trainings.
In services.
Yes. So, so my power has really grown, and I think it's a wonderful thing that they've been able to bring it to JAL. And so, Betty Little was kind enough to say, because at 5th grade, it's always been kind of a volunteer, but because it was after school hours, and we had to take them to Eunice, it was always volunteer. But with the junior high program, they've been able to incorporate it into the end of their school day, so it's a mandatory, all junior high girls get to go to my power, but I'm impressed with what they've done so far, and like you said, they've been bringing in some pretty powerful speakers. Another thing that we have is on Tuesday, September the 24th, we'll have our bingo for books. It's, we use that time as a parent training. It's Shelley and Alicia, our reading consultants. They come down and they'll do a bingo for books, and at the same time they're doing a bingo for books, we're also doing a parent training, how to work with your child at home to improve their reading. We have a pretty popular turnout on that event. And then fire department. They want us to come up with an idea to offer students, 6 at a time per month, rides to school in the morning, based on some criteria. So they'll.
In the fire truck.
In the fire truck. So for 6 kids,
I wanna do it too.
I will do it. I had staff volunteer. I said, well, if I put staff on there, you're kicking a student off, just to keep
So,
that in mind.
We can ride on the side.
So my leadership team will meet on Wednesday so that we can come up with a criteria, because I don't want this just academically based, and I don't want to do like a student of the month, because by the time you get to the end of the year, or you've done it for a few years, it tends to be the same people. And what I want to do is make sure that everyone has access or an opportunity to be somebody that can ride on the fire truck. So we're working out the legalities of it, the permission slips. And Wednesday, we'll meet with my leadership group and come up with criteria. Some kind of outstanding Panther for whatever reason, whether it's based on attendance or an improvement in something, or if it's something one month where it's an artistic ability or catching people doing kind acts, whatever the criteria is, I want it to be available for every student to be able to get a chance to ride on the fire truck. That sounds really cool. So, yeah, that's all I have. Did you guys have any questions?
Oh, that's a lot of good business.
I'm so excited with the direction that our school has taken off, and the improvements that we see, and the improvements in not just the building, but the facilities and the technology and the materials, and it's just, it's awesome.
And Mr. V has information that kind of sheds light on the work that pre-K, kinder, and first grade teachers have been doing. It's just big data that he has on the iStation. So
It's that foundation, you know, like Mr. Little said last month, and I know a couple of us said, it's time to move past COVID and build that foundation and get some strong readers and mathematicians. So that's all I have, so I'll turn that over. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. V?
No, go ahead, Tony.
Mr. B loves being here.
Oh, do you? Well, I'm not speaking on behalf of Buddy, because, he didn't give me, I did come today, because I do have some very good news for the city of Jal and the school. Last year, prior to me starting over here, Mr. Schneider asked me to start the Lego League robotic program here in Jal, okay? We've been going to Alamogordo and to Albuquerque numerous times. Well, last year, I think Marcy and I finally had our wits in, and we said, hey, you know what, there's no competitions in the southeast area or the eastern area of Mexico. So let's try to make one here in Jal. So we talked about it, we finally got with Lego, so we are actually going to be holding a competition here in Jal, the Jal Elementary, on December 7th.
Remember this Pearl Harbor Day?
Yes, I always remember. Yeah. So, yes, so on
That
December.
is awesome. And who do you have so far that we signed up?
Well, right now, on Friday, we just had the Zoom meeting. So, the ladies were, asking for, tournament directors, stuff like that. So they're like, if you're gonna do this, you have to kind of get away from coaching your team. So, now that I have Ms. Parsons, Ms. Adriana, that are also helping out, Ms. Butts is gonna also recruit some more over there at the elementary. So now we're trying to grow it. So now we're going to have try to get at least 40 to 50 volunteers. So I'll be coming along and I'll be asking for help, but most of it is just simple stuff, just making sure that the kids know where to go. We're going to, even though we had the news today, but we're gonna try to have it in the elementary gym.
You and I talked about it.
Yeah, and then we're going to do it in the elementary cafeteria, and then we're gonna have the judging classrooms upstairs where the upper level elementary is. But there's some things that we might have to purchase, just like, for example, to protect the gym floor. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I'll probably be like asking for.
You want it, you got it.
Okay. You know what, hey,
I literally signed all the checks, okay?
But
No, I think it's just a great opportunity to actually, you know, since we're always so enriched with STEM programs and, you know, with all the companies that are helping us out, I think this kind of puts us on the map for New Mexico First Label League. You know, we're the only really small town that competes. I mean, yes, Eunice competes and stuff like that, but you know, usually the big cities are holding the competitions like Alamogordo, Farmington, Santa Fe, you know, and Albuquerque. So this year we're actually gonna do it here so that we could get, you know, all the eastern side of New Mexico to participate. You know, the Eunice, the Lovingtons, the Hobbs, Portales, Clovis, maybe even get into, you know, Dora and all those other.
Maybe they'll host.
Yes, yes. You know, and that's what I said, because mostly everything is on the western central side of New Mexico, so it was, you know, we were traveling and then we were getting back at, what, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, so I mean, at one point we, you know, it was kind of dangerous, but, you know, we were here and, but I'm super excited, and like I said, I called up Brian and they finally made the decision for us to hold that competition here in Jal.
So how many competitions a year are we looking at?
Okay, so usually there's like a qualifying meet. So, and that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna hold a qualifying meet, and whoever wins out of Jal goes to state in Albuquerque.
Okay.
But, you know, and I think this is also how it happens. If we don't qualify here in Jal, like for example, if I have a team that doesn't qualify and they're like on the cusp, I can also register them again in Alamogordo, and we take that one team instead of having to take 4 or 5 teams. We just take one team,
Okay.
and then they participate and try to, you know, get a ticket to.
So how are the teams decided? Like, is it by grade level?
Yes, we have 2 elementary teams and we have 4 junior high teams.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Also, I mean, I haven't talked with Brian yet. But I was thinking about expanding, you know, adding maybe 4 more teams, because now that we've made it part of the curriculum, the STEM curriculum, we're having more student interaction because it's hands-on and they're really just grasping everything. Yeah, you know, and when we were doing it, we were only doing it for about a month when we were sending the kids. But now that we have a workbook, we have, you know, curriculum, we have stuff to follow. And the kids are just loving it because now it's not as intense, it's not really stressful. Now they're able to take their time and fix what they gotta do. And you know, I think it's awesome. You guys, when you ever get the chance, come by after lunch, you know, watch the 6th graders work. They're doing a great job, and then the 7th graders. What's that?
Where would we go?
Well, actually, we're in Adriana's room, the old art room.
Okay.
Where Miss Wagner used to be. Yep, right
Okay.
there. So we've turned that into a STEM room. And then for the teams that don't make it, I think what we might do is like the week before, we might have a competition, like an all JAL competition. And the volunteers get a chance to maybe get a little warm up before we do have that competition.
Okay.
But like I said, there's a lot of ideas that are kind of going through our heads right now, but right now, within the next week, I'm gonna probably start recruiting people and seeing if they're willing to help out. And the good thing also is, like, for example, Ms. Mata's digital journalism class, we could use them to, you know, video the competition, stuff like that, interview kids. So it gives now other students the opportunity to work on what they're passionate
It's
about.
all related.
Yes, it's all related, so,
Cool.
but yeah, I just wanted to come in.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what's nice in the big picture, put something primary, junior high into our STEM kind of, you know, portfolio.
Right.
And we get to have host a nice competition for that. And then we get to host a competition for high school with the Rocket program. So you have 2 STEM, hands-on based, it's like going to a game or something. And it's really gonna be nice having that. And then we're also working on a secondary academic competition that will be Lee County schools and anyone in the Southeast that wants to participate. It's gonna be housed through the REC in Hobbs. So I've been working on that quite a bit, trying to get a good, solid, it was statewide, the state pulled the funding after just 2 years. And so REC is gonna take it up. and the REC is going to house it, and we're gonna do an academic competition that recognizes the kids for that. So we've got the STEM and the academic balance that way.
Yeah.
And it goes into our strategic plan, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah, well, and then like what Ms. Comer was talking about, you know, with our facilities, you know, being top of the line, you know, the other competitions will, you know, where we've gone to other schools, you know, they're not up to date. So, you know, when these New Mexico First Lego League officials come down, they're gonna be excited because, I mean, we
get
have,
to show
yes,
off
we
is
get
what
really,
you're saying.
basically, yes, because they asked, they're like, hey, as long as we have a projector and a screen and all of these. Yeah, and I'm like, well, we kind of have digital interactive TVs in our rooms. And they're like, you know, like the mouse kind of dropped and everything. And like I said, it's awesome because we actually get to show people what, you know, not only we're athletics, we're also academics, and we're pretty good at both of them.
Yes.
Right.
You know, so I'm very proud of the kids right now because
Awesome.
you have a very diverse group of kids that are just going at it and they're having fun doing it.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Mr. B, do you wanna go, or do you wanna wait a little longer?
Order some hamburger. You know, years ago, I watched the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, years and years ago. And on that show, he had Dean Martin, Joy Bishop, John Wayne. You know, it was like an all-star cast on the Tonight Show, you know, Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. But his last guest was George Gold. I don't know if you remember who George Gold was, but he was a comedian and he was funny. But anyway, when he got introduced, he came out there and he looked at the people that were there on that couch that already been in. He says, I feel like everybody's a tuxedo and I'm a pair of brown shoes. Well, that's me. After all that you heard tonight, I'm the brown shoe. You know what?
Brown sugar.
But anyway, that was just funny. Okay, did you get a copy of this? I gave it to you last year.
Yep.
And I wanna go over this stuff with you. But as much passion as everybody has about all the things that they talked about at this point, I have about this. And I can't share it with anybody, because no one seems to have it. I mean, everything's been good news and rosy and whatever, but then there's also the plain fact that our kids are not performing.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, I tell the kids, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, if you don't know how to do this, I'm gonna tell you, you don't know how, but you need to learn how to do it. Okay, so, at any rate, and this is all based upon the fact that, Ms. Robinson made me read all the books about how to learn, teach the kids how to read, and I feel guilty and I feel awful. But I learned so much about what goes on, you know, and so, no matter what kind of things that we produce as students through here, if the kid can't read, his production is not gonna be what it should be. And the results that we have are not that great. But after what I've talked to Ms. Robinson about, I call her professor because she decided me to read these books. And I also made Brian read them, and I made Mr. Little read them. And it kind of changed people's minds about certain things. And I've talked about it before, that the community's perception of progress is kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. You don't need that for that, but it doesn't match the science.
No.
You know. But how are you gonna work the science into fitting a person, you know, the perception that people have of progress the kids make? And so it all comes down to this. And I make these charts of things that I keep track of students, and I should show you what I have on my computer, but you don't have enough time. And I spend a lot of time, and you can ask my wife, in the summers, I'm building these things, and during this, like for the months of, when school got started, you know, in August and September, with the class I'm doing, the papers I grade there, and then doing all this upkeep on this data, I mean, it's just, almost midnight every night, it seems like, just after. And it's not exciting, well, I get excited, I like doing it. But it's all based on, can the kid read? I mean, can he understand what's going on? And like our scores in math, are they so bad? Well, it's because they can't read the math problems that they have to take on the test. And this is the grade that we get, that test that they take in the spring. And getting to that point, the progress isn't as flashy as building a new building. You know, it's just not flashy.
It's nuts and bolts.
Yes, this gets done, oh, well, we messed up here, well, that's how we just, well, sorry, it's not that way with kids' education. It's just that it's not the same. But the basis is this. You know, I've got this report, and I'll show you how to read through these so you'll know, I can just give you one every month. And you'll know what to do. And you might want to jot down one thing. Those three assessments that are listed on the very first page of kindergarten. Did you hear them? Yes. Okay. That one is called Haggerty Phonemic Awareness Assessment. Now, in reading, they're what they call the big five, things that need to be assessed in children. Number one is phonemic awareness, and that is, can the kid learn to know the sounds that are used in our language and how they attach to the alphabet, and you know what I mean? And then how they put into words, and can you get comprehension from that? Well, the thing about it is, the phonemic awareness teaches all these rules about, I mean, it's just basic things, like, you had the word mop without the what would you have? So you gotta learn how those sounds fit together and where they come from, and you gotta work it, and that takes grueling, boring work. I'm sorry, kindergarten could be fun, you can draw pictures of Santa Claus all day long, and make kids happy, but they don't learn any of that stuff. So, the first thing is, they have to have phonemic awareness. And kids should have that pretty well mastered by the end of kindergarten. If you have a good, strong kindergarten teacher that makes them learn it.
Like Christy Sauceda.
Especially like Christy Sauceda.
Yeah, you're right.
Michelle Lopez.
Yes.
Miss Lopez. So, because I asked Miss Robbins, what do we do? How do we fix this? She said, you gotta put your best teachers in kindergarten. Because you gotta get that fixed there. Now, phonemic awareness, they have, the curriculum we have is Haggerty, and it has 8 levels of phonemic awareness. I don't have time to go through them all, but there's 8 levels. And so, they need to have that, this is their prerequisite. They need to have 100% mastery of those things. Or they shouldn't proceed, because if they don't have phonemic awareness, it's the prerequisite for everything else that they're gonna do in education. They can't go on. And if a kindergarten kid does not have it by the end of kindergarten, they need to stay there until they get it. Now, some parents aren't gonna like it. And what are you gonna do? You can't say, well, no, our system is, they have to stay with phonemic awareness until they get it. But, so, anyway, we would shoot for a percentage, we were like right now, in August, they took this test, and no kid was proficient in all levels. Well, of course not, right? Because the preschool stuff they use there, some of them are proficient in maybe 2 of those 8 levels. Coming in kindergarten, and mom probably read books to them, and they learn from home, and so they take care of it. But you say, oh, well, it's nice we have a good percentage there. No, we need to have 100%. Kid has to have 100% there, or he's not ready to move on. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But some of them don't get it. Well, in fact, you know what? Maybe half of them got to that point. And some of them are beyond. But you look at what the ones they didn't get, and they do, some of them get a little bit for kindergarten, well, they get sophisticated. The kid has to really put that sound and letter knowledge together, which is fine. And Ms. Sauceda and Ms. Lopez do a very good job of doing that. So we would like to have 100% here. this number, that's what you shoot for, we would hope that in May it'd be 100%. And they give these assessments every, 5 times during the year. And one of those things that Professor Robinson had me read was the fact that how do you get these kids that are in upper elementary and junior high, when we're close, if they never got these things right here, you're wasting your time. You need to go back and do these things, because they gotta get those, because those are the prerequisites to anything that follows. And we go ahead and done that, but it's coming, I think it's coming. All right, so we need 100% there. And the next two indicators for these kindergartners is, do they have letter naming fluency? Like, just call out the letters, or they have it on the chart, you have to read across the letters. They have the letters capital, lowercase, whatever, they have to name the letters. And by the end of May, they should be able to get named correctly 42 of them by the end of kindergarten. Most of the kids can get there on that, most of them, not all of them. And then that's letter naming fluency. This next one is sound fluency. Not only do they need to know the name of the letter, they need to be able to recognize the sound that that letter makes. And they should be able, there's benchmarks for that. But each of these three things right here, for a kid to really succeed in reading, they have to be able to do those things. They should be 100% master of those three things. Those are the three major indicators. And so we have that covered, so I have to give assessments now. These assessments are given Ms. Lopez and Ms. Sauceda, these two right here. They're gonna start doing those monthly, because that book says these things need to be assessed frequently. Make sure the kids are going on this. Okay, so these two things are extremely important. So, now, if you got a kiddo that's in kindergarten and has not got that mastery, we used to, let's move on and hope and see what's gonna happen. But I talked with Ms. Sauceda, and I said, well, what we need to do is some of those kids are in first grade and the parents didn't want. Now, I have to say that a lot of the students were held back, parents. I think Ms. Komar explained this philosophy to some of those parents and said, you're not helping your kid's self-esteem by just moving your mind. You're gonna ruin it later down the line, And a lot of those kids say, well, yeah, he doesn't repeat this, But if they're not allowed to, Ms. Sauceda is gonna take, during the intervention time, she's gonna take the kids who have not mastered all of those, and there is a program, heavily continues on into first grade, second grade, up to third grade, But she's taking those kids and she gives them those instructions during the MLS system, during the intervention time. She goes in and does those kids in first grade and second grade that didn't get this 100%. And so she's already started those, and already got kids and there's charts on we built them, and I keep track of, they give me the data, they send me these little things, and I go in there and put it all on my charts. I got 1 million charts, and I put them on there, and you can find out this kid was really bad in this particular phone. He's got a red thing there. So she's already taken some of those second graders this year in one group, and the kids, they're yellow. Stood them up because that's Ms. Sauceda. So she understands this process and wants to get it fixed. Because if we can fix the downstairs elementary, it's gonna take care of a lot of those stuff, including the math, because the math, the biggest problem with the state test is they have these problems, and the reason not just doing computation. You have to know how to compute, but you gotta be able to read the problems.
So you can get a lot of behavior as well.
Yeah. So, at any rate, we're working on this. Now, these two charts right here, this is just the iStation scores. iStation just, let's say all this kid's weak in vocabulary, those 5 things. I talked about the first one, for the awareness. The second thing they've got to master is decoding. And that's fonts. That's, okay, here's the word magic. Now, what letters do I put down to spell that word? If we were learning Spanish, the Spanish didn't have all the goofy rules like English does, That's what I tell kids. Sorry, English just has a lot of goofy rules that don't make any sense, but you gotta learn it because that's the language we have. And so, but they're getting these mastered. And So on this, it's just like, the kids are doing I-Station and it just tells you where they fall in comparison to everybody else in the nation. And like, here's the first 2 months they've taken that exam, that test, and in kindergarten, only 14-17%. Well, each month it's gone up a little bit on their scores, but how many of them are scoring at proficient or above? So we would hope, I mean, it would really a big step up if we could get like in May that the number was 50. I mean, you see those reading averages, like 30% nationwide about all that can read on level. Maybe, but you think, well, surely half of our kids should be able to read all that, and they should. They really should. But a lot of times, once the kids are in 3rd and 4th grade and they haven't had, this was never mastered, you're probably not gonna get it. You're probably not gonna get it. Okay, so next page, here's I-Station. These are just our monthly scores from I-Station. We would hope that these numbers here, again, if we could get to 50, that would really be a big step forward. You see how low they are. And there's 2 pages, one for math and one's for reading. Okay, then you go to this page right here. Now there's some things that, this is an important thing, people don't understand about this one, because you have to kind of look at, I could show you some graphs and I have to show you some changes in our remember when they came out with Dibbles? Back in 2003? And that's when I started doing this, because I was like, well, they got all this information, let's start making charts. Well, I've got charts on those kids that were back in 2003.
Wow.
I still have all that, and I have running charts, how our school has done from that 2003 until this year. And if you were to look at that chart, you'd go, oh my. That's what I did.
Depressing.
It's depressing, and so, at any rate, you would hope that we can at least get to 50%. This is only tested 3 times a year. Where I go in, I have the kids read to me 3 passages on grade level. If he's a 3rd grader, he has to read a 3rd grade level. And if he hadn't had that mastery, he's not gonna do well. Okay, so we would hope that we would get 50, but these numbers aren't, they're close. 38, 40, 22, the 4th grade, 27. And as you go up in grade level, the number goes down. And there's a way to fix that, according to that book. But I'll have to show you more graphs. You know what I'm talking about. But I need you to understand, I can kind of throw you some graphs and let you look at it and see what you thought, but they need to be explained. And for you to understand it. But sometimes I look at that, I get, totally depressed, so, what do we need to do? But the thing about it is, when you read that book, you say, well, if they don't have those fundamentals of the first 2 big 2, phonemic awareness and phonics, you're not gonna get it. Now, even when a kid is done, that if they get the phonics mastered, but they're still not at the level, the next thing is you go for the decoding, And we have a system where we started using that called Words Their Way, and it has small group tutoring that they do for those kiddos. In our 1st and 2nd grade students, we did it for the whole school, but this year with 3180, we're not doing those upstairs. I keep track of it, but we don't have that intervention program, because that's what 3180 is. But downstairs they're still doing those intervention groups to see if we can give you progress with these. And so, and I'll get to that in just a second. The next one, I also get some comprehension tests. Now, I'm gonna start learning comprehension even in the 1st grade and 2nd grade, and most of it's listening comprehension. And the science says most kids, even in middle school, their listening comprehension far exceeds their reading comprehension. You can talk about things with kiddos and they probably can comprehend the time that you tell them to read it. It's not gonna happen. Number one, because vocabulary is very low, very low. So you see here, here's some tests that I give the kids, 3rd through 6th. We do 7th and 8th, but Miss Away hasn't done it this year. 3rd through 6th, we hope that we will get 50%, And these aren't really bad. Well, our 5th grade, 59% of them passed the comprehension test. That's pretty good. And then, now here's the vocabulary, pretty low. This isn't bad, 41, but it goes down quickly, you know? And vocabulary is, it's hard to teach. But Regional Navy had a very good way of teaching vocabulary, but you have to stop and do it. Now, with your kid, we didn't have to worry about that, we called him Mr. Dictionary, he knew all the words. So I didn't call him, shut up, right? Just bide our time here. But they have a system that's really good, you know, I mean, if you come across a word in your reading, or whatever we're doing, you tell the kids, well, rate this word. Number 1 is, I don't know this word. Number 2 is, I've seen it or heard it. Number 3 is, I think I know this word. Number 4 is, I know this word and I use it. And so, first time I think we were reading something, the word sultry was there. Oh, does anybody know what sultry means? Here's the posters, because I had those posters up in my room. How many of you write that at number 1? You use the word sultry. Well, I mentioned that one kid. Then, how many of you you heard it or seen it? You didn't maybe 1 or 2 more. They said, well, I think I know this word. Okay, that's it. Number 4, I know this word and I use it. Oh, everybody raise their hand. I mean, so I was calling a kid, okay, use the word sultry in a sentence with context and proper usage. It's there. It's there. I said, you raise your hand and says, I know this word and I use it. All I'm asking you to do is use it.
Right, prove it.
Just looking at me. I said, call me. You said you raised your hand on number 4. You know this word and use it. And then there's a look on his face. I said, well, you lied to me. Well, that's a lie, isn't it? There were the words printed right there, big and bold letters. I said, you lied to me. He said, no, I know, I can tell you, kid, you lied to me. How? Well, your lips are moving. But at any rate, so the next time we had a word like that, then I said, we rated. If they didn't know it, that hand went up. You know what I mean? See, if you're honest with me, when you raise your hand, we can talk about this word. I know we need to talk about it. So it's very helpful. So we're working on the vocabulary. It's hard. It's difficult because number 1, the parents don't talk to their kids. They don't know vocabulary. I told them, I said, who's going to learn vocabulary on TikTok? Right.
Or what's the slang?
No. You know, person down there also selling a burrito down there, you're gonna teach you vocabulary, you're gonna learn to get out, be quiet, you know, but you already know that. But you're not gonna learn sultry, you're not gonna stop and do that.
My chicken bites were too sultry.
Out of context, sultry.
Sorry.
Hey, they're very demure.
Very fine.
Okay, so anyway, you know, not to, your parents, your parents teach you vocabulary and an appreciation for it. And you know, one kid said, well, my daddy, if we're watching a TV show and there's a word, he says, do you know what that word means? I said, that sounds like my grandpa. And my grandpa knew all kinds of words. I mean, take a crossword puzzle, a 6-letter word for an Australian bird. I don't know, he knew it because he did crossword puzzle. I don't know what it was, but you know, there was just that appreciation. So I heard my grandpa use all kinds of words. I said, but if your parents, all you hear from is, go to your room and you'll learn this. That's all the vocabulary you learn. So, at any rate, here is a little bit of good news right here on this page right here. This is in the chart. This is when I organized the first grade intervention. In each person right here, there's one of those kiddos who are emergent. They probably moved here and they don't speak English, so they have Miss Zavala. You know what I mean? The second one, this is heavy. This is when Mrs. Salceda comes in and takes first graders. So you see that she's got 6 first graders she's working on. Learning that phonemic awareness, because they never mastered it. And then right here you have, the other teachers have what they call, after they learn the phonemic awareness, they go into the decoding part, and that's what this is. And they should master this, what we call learning name alphabetic. That's connecting those sounds to the letters and the alphabet. Okay. And you usually have a lot of kids here, and these are the groups, like Miss Albright has a group, a couple of groups, because they're divided. Miss Messmer have a couple of groups, and the aide will have a group. Now, These over here are the ones that did not require intervention. When I gave them that test at the beginning of the year, to these, every first grader. I have never had more than 1 or 2 kids in this group.
Oh, wow.
This year, 10 out of the 42 kids, so the kindergarten teachers are kicking butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. That was really good. That's one of the good news. This is the second grade division. And here you still have, kids move here, they don't speak, so they're in an emerging. And then here's her second graders in Hagerty. There's still some second graders who haven't learned phonemic awareness. I mean, they know some of it, they just don't have all of it, just parts of it. So she gives an assessment at the beginning, it picks out right away, these are the ones that he does not know how to do. So she's got that going. Then they're doing decoding. Oh, by second grade, the kids should have the decoding. Most of them have it by the end of first grade. But by the end of second grade, they need to have it. And if a kid hasn't mastered this decoding part, they need to be held back. They're not ready to go on, because that's the second of the 5 main points. Now, this right here, the second graders who do not need intervention, at the most, in the last few years, there's been about 4 or 5 that would be in this group. This time there's 18.
Oh, wow.
The first grader teachers are kicking butt. Miss Albright, they're trying to get that fixed downstairs.
Yeah.
And so that's why I keep all these records and showing, following, and you can't, the science says they need to get those 2 things done before they're ever gonna succeed in reading or in math or whatever. And so we're trying to make sure that gets taken care of. Now, that's not to say that first graders and second graders aren't learning comprehension and vocabulary, yes. But you need to get this other stuff down so that you can comprehend what you're reading. And so, another one is the vocabulary, which I'll show you part. The thing that's not tested on anything we have here is oral reading fluency. And iStation doesn't take care of that.
No.
But that is a thing that'll pick out problems. If you have a kid in, and so 3 times a year, I have every kid from first grade up to 5th grade read to me. And I look at that, I check their oral reading fluency and I check their accuracy. Years ago, I didn't worry about the accuracy, and I thought, well, I need to start doing accuracy. And right when we started working way back 2 or 3 years ago, when we started doing it, and usually the kids in first grade, when they have that oral reading thing, the way that it's based, and on the oral reading, you would hope that, I have one of these tips in this oral reading, and I need to make sure I mention it to you. And it's this one right here. You want to shoot for 50, and 50 is the good number. Because the way this is done is if you've got 40 kids in the 5th grade, 20 of them should be above the national norm and 20 of them will be below. So if you got 50% of the kids scoring on level, then you're in the national norm. Okay. Now last year, the group I had in 6th grade, I went to, they went in the 5th grade in May. I told them there were 40 kids in those 2 classes. And I explained to them how that worked. Here's where you should be, the national norm. Here's the so many words per minute, and getting at least 90% accuracy. I said, so out of the 40 kids in the 6th grade, how many of them should be above below 20? Yeah, and how many below 20? I said, how many of you were above that national norm? 5. I said, well, when I listen to you read, you can read the words. So you have the decoding.
Yeah.
But your fluency is way below the national norm. So one of those books that Professor Robin reads, what do you do with these kids that, their accuracies? Now, I'll say this, that works their way where they're learning the decoding. Years ago, when I get second graders reading, they'd come across the word Brian. They'll be like, you experienced that, right? And they're sounding that well, they have no decoding skills, they're just guessing. You know what I mean? And then I say Brian, and then I say, okay, Brian. Well, that has almost disappeared, but the fluency speed has not really gotten up to average, hasn't gotten up to normal. Well, what is that? Well, they don't have automaticity. That's what it said. Automaticity is your brain takes a picture of everything all the time. And you remember when the first grade, Miss Littleton, for the first principal, I was in her room, she has those letter truck walking down the aisle, and every kid call out that letter, you know what I mean? And Ms. Robinson, that's what you gotta do. That brain has to get that so that it's, they don't have to think about it, it's there. Well, what we haven't done is look at these chunks in Dolce, fries, this has the chunks like in the closet, outside, running, you know what I mean? It has all these phrases. Then you can do that with kids, so you just see that, so that your brain doesn't have to sit there and decode those letters because it's already there. I've heard it so many times, you know what I mean? I'm sick of it, I know it. And that's what they're missing. And I told the kids, there's your problem. You kids your accuracy's good, but you're reading 40 words a minute more than the national average. Well, I mean, I'm not lying. I was there, you read me, and I'm just telling you what I found out. You know, you know what the cure for that is? Read. Just read.
Just read.
You know, and not telling you just don't do it, because I don't have time to, you know, you gotta do that. So, you know, there's ways it can be fixed, but if we get the stuff fixed at the downstairs in the elementary, it's gonna take care of most of those. Then they can work on comprehension. You know, there's plenty of things that teachers can do in comprehension. Vocabulary, I just don't think we stress it enough. I mean, you have to stop it, discuss those words, because who else is going to? If your parents don't, the next source is gonna be the language arts teacher.
That's what takes the most time in my Sunday night or Sunday morning and Wednesday night classes.
Is
What does
vocabulary.
that word mean?
I know, it's
And
a
it gets
lot
them
of stuff.
off, that's what you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
they
take the
just,
time,
they
no.
just don't know.
I know.
And too many, I'm sorry, but too many teachers just read a few stuff with kids and don't stop at what does the word mean? And then make them write sentences, use them in context with proper usage. Because if not, they'll use suspicion instead of the word suspicious.
Right.
Or, you know, stuff like that. And so I'm sorry, that's, you know. So what I would do that last year, they'd write a sentence. And I said, now I'm not gonna put a big X on it, but no context, or incorrect usage, you know? Because they don't know, like, they don't know whether it's word nutritious, nutrient, they don't know. So you gotta tell them and talk to them about it, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
And for either one of them, that's all I can say, it's a pair of brown shoes. Just, okay, but if you're interested in the other, I mean, I've got some charts, you know, I'm gonna show some, tell you what these are about. But this pretty well gives you an overall of what I'm trying to, now, there was one other good news. This is to tap this award. Here was our results from last year's state test, the last page.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you the ELA results, third grade. There were 39 kids tested, 10 of them were at proficient or better. That's 26%. So you see how to read that chart. 26%. And then here's the math. 39 kids took the test, 10 of them were proficient, 26%. Not very well. That's generally where we fall. But look at the seventh graders. I don't think we've had anyone ever had the number coming out above 40. It's always been maybe in the 20s or low 30s. But 41% of them on that state test were proficient or better. So Mrs. Boyd, I said, well, Mrs. Boyd, you've been accurate. She says, yeah, but that stuff you do in your cushion. I mean, I told those kids, I said, Mrs. Boyd and I had this problem. We gotta talk about these results. And I said, now we have to get you ready for Miss Office in ninth grade. We've got a lot to cover. And this is all we do. I said, so Mrs. Boyd knows what I'm doing. And I say, here are my lesson plans. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And so next year, some of the stuff that I'm teaching this is because you haven't heard some of these language arts rules and stuff taught earlier. You just let it, there's a way, you don't get enough repetition in it. I said, there's some of this stuff that I teach this year, you should have learned it 2 or 3 years ago, and I shouldn't be doing it. But next year, Miss Savoy shouldn't even have to mention this. That's why she shouldn't have to, because she's got other things to do, and then Miss Loftus, she doesn't teach this stuff. That's not her job. She's ready, because it's like, you learn all your math facts when you're down in elementary, so you can do geometry and algebra and all this other stuff. They shouldn't be teaching you the multiplication facts. you know, same with reading. So, that's a good number for that, you know, but look at that math.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's bad, you know, at any rate. But I'll keep each month I'll update this as much as I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brenda.
Sorry that
Thank
it took too long.
No,
Well, like I say, I was passionate about this and that guy ended up building it. Bathrooms on the playground.
And one thing that I can add to that is that the nice thing is, like you mentioned upstairs, third through fifth, is we've got some pretty strong teachers, well, departmentalizing really put the teachers at their strengths.
Yeah.
And your new math teacher down there is killing it too.
Yes,
My
yes.
gosh, yeah, he's teaching them stuff that is where they should be learning.
Well, and what's nice is the way the kids have been grouped too. So there are 3 teachers, math teachers, and the 2 reading teachers. They're able to, instead of just trying to teach to the middle or trying to just teach to the low, they're able to work at the kids' ability and take them to places that it's just so much more efficient to work with the kids and filling their needs and taking care of the gaps that we have. So I'm excited what the next couple of years will show.
And I did speak to the math teacher, said, yeah, we were multiplying binomials and all that, and I was thinking, I'm just looking like I know what he's talking about. But I'm more, he's teaching 3rd, 4th, and 5th this, and I'm gonna have to go look up what a binomial, that's what I like.
Well,
I like that, whatever it is.
Well, rate that word by number 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I'm just going, yeah, I'm looking at this. I love that, you know, it's been a long year.
It's amazing, that's what I'm saying, is I'm excited the next couple of years, the progress that we're gonna be making. And we'll never quite be at 100%, no, because you have kids moving from the other districts, or you have parents that said, no, I'm not retaining my kids, so that puts them a little behind, and sometimes the language is a barrier, but I definitely see, like Mr. B said, seeing kids at least 50% moving up to the 60-70%, that's
Progress.
That's amazing, numbers we have never seen, which is, if he says we have never seen it, we haven't ever seen it.
right.
So it's really good to where can we go with it? Unlimited. So,
Yeah.
Right,
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
okay.
On to Mr. Snyder.
Okay, so, not a lot of new changes, except the new homes are still, scheduled to be off the line in October, 1st of November. Mr. Loftus is still gonna attend the National, Top 9 Conference in October. The regional school board meeting is September 23rd. Who's going? Who's coming with me?
I'm not.
Because I'm kind of afraid to go by myself. I may not come back. Because I said to you, I was just joking with the superintendent. I said, do we need to write some entertainment? Because the teacher that was there is doing the singing. So I went into the auditorium the other day, and those kids were all just belting out this music and singing on the stage. And I thought, is this the same girls that I saw? Because at first they were trying to drop out like flies. Well, all of a sudden it started coming back up where they're like, no, we like it. So even the counselors, wait, give it some time. And now the kids are actually acclimating to it, going, this is fun. It's fun to do this. Have you noticed that too? And so that's why I'm shaking his head. He's noticed that when I go in there. It's just really cool watching them belt out of music. Like, never.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait to see the first actual production.
They actually started practice this after school today.
Yes, and they're actually doing practice after school, getting ready for the next production, getting ready for Veterans Day program. I mean, really cool things that we've got going in that. Drama, that won't be something you see every day, but you're gonna see it every so many, once a semester or twice. You'll see what they've been working on. It's really cool when you see that. So that is regional board meeting, so do we know who's going or not really yet? So there's 2 out probably. So
I might be back, I don't know.
Mr. Chavez, do you know?
I don't know, it's a toss up for me only because
Yes.
it's still early in the afternoon for me.
Okay, so what I might do before that is just send out a text. I may go it alone, maybe try and bring somebody with me where they won't kill me up there.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's at, usually starts at 6 o'clock. So we have to be there by 6 o'clock. I did get a message from their superintendent. I'm just gonna tell him
You should take money with you.
I don't know if that would be good.
I mean, he'd be good protection.
I don't know, but
I
anyway,
wouldn't
so.
mess with Buddy Rose.
Anyway, so homecoming week, I added this just a second ago. We're in homecoming week, so Friday at 5:30 will be the coordination at the field, if anybody is interested, we'd love for you to go. I think Mr. Chavez will be there, and Mr. Chavez, have you found a good parking spot for that? He knows what he's
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
park in the driveway this time.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not gonna park in the driveway, she will.
She's gonna do it. She was unloading the concession and parked in the handicap. I'm sorry, but I have to tell your story. And so the officer came up and said, we don't know, we ran the tag, Mr. Chavez parked in the handicap. Well, no, Anais parked there to unload the concession, and it made it look like he was, and I said, I don't sound like him, I don't think. And so sure enough, they looked into it, they investigated, and it was not Mr. Chavez's fault. He was an innocent third
What's she
party.
supposed to do? Park down the street?
Yeah.
I mean, we do have 2 gators, I mean.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway,
She forgot to move it.
on these projects, I have added the miscellaneous district projects on there. That's all the things that we had talked about. We're just gonna explore them. As they become real, then I will put them on this list if you guys deem that a necessary thing. Okay. It still has to go through the whole process where y'all think that it is necessary. And the auditorium renovation is at 99.99%, so hopefully we'll get the curtains up. It won't be on the list anymore. So what I wanna do is just remove these things completely off the list. That's my dream.
What's your dream?
Paving
Aim higher,
projects,
man.
same thing. Do what?
I said aim higher.
That's your dream? My dream is to get these done over with and 50% proficiency. I've added that to my dreams. Aim higher, yeah. So that's pretty much what I have for you this month. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You answered all mine this afternoon when I called you, so.
Good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chavez? All right. All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys, that was a lot of business today.
That was a lot of stuff. That was
See you later.
That was good stuff.
Hey, Ms. Comer, 2 things.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my
Sorry, you're not gonna be, you're not gonna be here.
Yes, that's.
See the board.
I know that name.
You're gonna
Yes, the spring started.
I was gonna run around. But I'll volunteer to do it.
Nice to meet you.
Right, you got started up.
Yes.